Bombing night, but slow and steady.
And inexorable. I mean, he keeps winning these states that have winner-take-all, and there simply aren't enough states out there to catch up. I mean, but at the end of tonight, you know, the outstanding big states are Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, but most of the states are done. And I just, even though he's not really winning overwhelmingly, he is winning, and he's winning in most of the states. And I just think his opponents are running out of time, and there is no one single opponent. Huckabee and Romney are splitting the anti-McCain vote.
I wanted to follow up on something what Gloria is saying. You know, we've long talked about the Democratic Party being the mommy party and the Republicans being the daddy party. But what's really striking in these numbers that I've seen so far tonight...
But David, I'm sorry, excuse me, we have a projection. I just want to give that to Wolf. Wolf?
CNN now projects that John McCain will carry the Empire State. That would be New York State. A huge bonanza of potential votes, delegates out there. It's a winner-take-all state. 101 delegates at stake for the Republicans in New York. This was an important victory for John McCain. He worked hard. He had a lot of endorsements, including from Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor who dropped out of this presidential race. John McCain, our projected winner in New York State, a very important win for him tonight. Take a look at the votes that have actually come in. 0%, a little bit less than 1% of the precincts reporting. It's very, very early, but McCain already at 52% to Romney's 24%, Huckabee's 12%. A tiny, tiny number are in of actual hard numbers, 621 votes for McCain to 281 for Romney. But based on our exit polls, based on what we're seeing right now, CNN projects that John McCain will carry New York State. Another win for John McCain. Anderson, we were just talking about, Jeff Toobin was just mentioning how McCain is racking them up, and certainly New York is a big prize.
It's certainly a big prize, 101 delegates there. David Gergen, let's go back to you. You interrupted you.
Yeah, well, I think Jeff was right about he's marching. The mommy party, daddy party deal. If you look at the exit polls in almost all these states, on the Democratic side, the people who are voting, only about 42, 43, 44% of the people who vote are men. Most of the people who vote are women. On the Republican side, it's just the opposite. About 53%, 54% in most states are men versus women. And that percentage, that heavy tilt toward women voters on the Democratic side is a huge strength for Hillary Clinton tonight. Consistently, in state after state, she does really well among women, especially white women. And I think that is, more than anything else, is propelling her forward in this race.
And that's what was so interesting in California, where you had the governor's wife, Maria Shriver, come out, Oprah Winfrey, Caroline Kennedy, trying to say to women, it's okay to change your minds and vote for Barack Obama, and at the last minute, we'll see if that works.
But in the general election, you get a closer gender break on the voting.
Let's go to Bill Bennett.
Yeah, two things. Well, one, yes, I agree with the upfront panel number one, I guess, about the seeming inexorability, though it's not there yet. But no, I mean, notice if Romney were chalking up these states, you know, we'd be saying, wow, holy smokes. May 21st, I just checked the date on my BlackBerry. I was in New York. I was asked to kind of MC the New York State Republican Party dinner. All the candidates were invited. Rudy Giuliani came. It was Giuliani Central. I mean, signs, everything. One other candidate showed up, John McCain. He came in, he gave a talk. People were polite. He walked out. People said it was nice of McCain to come, kind of sad, you know, lonely figure, came in by himself. Tonight he wins I mean, you're going to cut down forests writing the story of this election with all the players on both sides. It's extraordinary. I mean, that was Giuliani. It was Giuliani Central. John McCain wins that primary tonight. Big time going away.
Yeah. We talked earlier about Latino voters. In the debate in Los Angeles, Senator Obama really tried to hone in on Latino voters. Look at Illinois, his home state. According to our exit polls, he won 52% Latino vote. They made up 16% of those who voted. That's a serious problem. One of their issues they've had is that they've not been able to really get any inroads there. He tried to get inroads with the comment about supporting driver's licenses.
He did get a major endorsement from a Spanish-language paper in California.
Based upon that issue, but again, they have not had a successful strategy in being able to break through that barrier. Now, the question is, with the states moving forward, when you talk about District of Columbia, when you talk about Virginia, when you talk about those, Louisiana, Mississippi, will that matter? But again, they have a Latino problem. When he only wins 52% of Latinos in his home state, That's a problem.
Jamal Simmons, Obama supporter, what does that mean for California?
Well, one of the issues here, though, is time. You know, Barack Obama does better over time. As people get to know him, as they get to see him, he's airing ads, people start to get comfortable. So what you'll see over the next round of states coming up, is that he'll have more time, he will have been out there longer, and I think those numbers will change.
Jamal,
so we'll see what
he's
this
from Illinois. He is the junior senator from the state of Illinois. If you only win 52% of the Latino vote in your home state, you have a Latino problem.
Sure he does, and nobody doubts that, but I mean, I think they're addressing it, and I think over time, and we hit a lot of those states already today.
Paul Begala, is Obama running out of time?
No, and nor is he running out of money. This thing's going to rock on. But there are Latinos and there are Latinos, okay? There's no monolith of Latinos.
Very true.
It's like saying Catholic vote. Catholic votes include people who are right on everything like me, people like Bill Bennett who are wrong on everything, okay? We're both in the same Holy Mother Church, right? Latinos in New York, they tend to be disproportionately Puerto Ricanos, Dominicans, Central Americans. In California, they tend to be more Mexican Americans and from Central America. So we got to be very careful about these facile. But you're right, Barack still has a problem in his home state.
It's going to play a role in Texas, though. In Texas, you talk about West Texas, you talk about Corpus Christi, Brownsville, Houston, Dallas. You've had some black-brown friction there over the last 15 years in school districts and when it comes to City Hall. Trust me, they need to watch out for that in the state of Texas.
We got to take a quick break. There have been some serious tornadoes in the Arkansas-Tennessee border area. We're going to talk about that with Chad Myers when we come back from this short break. Stay tuned.
CNN projects that Alabama will go for Barack Obama. Barack Obama, the Democratic presidential candidate, will carry the state of Alabama. An important win in the South for Barack Obama. This coming on the heels of his win in South Carolina, his win in Georgia. Barack Obama will carry Alabama. Right now we have 24% of the vote in Alabama is now in. He's got a decisive lead, 64% for Obama to Hillary Clinton's 34%. He's been doing very, very well in the southern states that have large African-American populations, Alabama being one of them, and Alabama, a state going in Barack Obama's corner. An important win for Barack Obama in Alabama right now. We're going to continue to watch all of this, but there's an incredible weather unfolding along the border between Arkansas and Tennessee right now. Chad Myers is watching this story for us, and it's having an impact on voting out there as well, Chad. First of all, tell our viewers what's going on. Tornadoes.
Tornadoes. So far, Wolf, 24 confirmed reports of tornado damage. One of the biggest ones was Jackson, Tennessee. Jackson, Tennessee, 86 people injured, 50 at a retirement home, 36 at Union College. Now, the whole thing started really in Memphis. Here's some pictures from northeastern Memphis as the storm began to roll through. This is what one of our storm spotters, our eye reporters, saw as he was traveling actually away from the storm. That was a good direction, but could see the funnel cloud there in the path. Now, about an hour later, the real storm came through with at least an EF3, maybe larger tornado that hit a mall. This mall, the Hickory Ridge Mall, took a direct hit right near the Sears store. People were trapped inside, but now they believe that everybody is out. That's great news. But we still have 10 tornado warnings going on right now. And this number here behind me, the number of lightning strikes in the past hour, over 30,000 lightning strikes in the past hour. Now, we do know that Highland, Arkansas, the fire department completely destroyed there. Other tornadoes have been on the ground for a long length of time. These are long-lived tornadoes on the ground, very large tornadoes. Memphis, especially the south and the southwest side, hit first, and then the south and the southeast side picked up. One town we're worried about right now is Centerville, Tennessee. You're about 25 minutes from a major tornado that's on the ground right now. Now, the next destination, if it keeps going, Wolf, is Nashville. That's an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes away. This has been a long-track tornado. Here is the storm that rolled through Jackson in Tennessee. You can see how close it is to Memphis. Memphis, you already got hit twice. And there is more weather, more tornado warnings still to your southwest, more weather headed your way. If you're out there trying to clean up, realize more severe weather with more tornado warnings on the way in the next 25 or 30 minutes. Can you imagine, Wolf, getting hit 3 times in one night by tornado warnings?
And Chad, we've got a statement from the Tennessee Secretary of State saying that he was forced to close some polling places in the western part of the state after severe destruction from tornadoes. Local authorities were able to relocate our workers. A couple of precincts, he says, were affected. I don't think it affected, he says, a large number of votes. We also have a statement, Chad, from the former governor of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee, who's watching all of this unfold. The news of these deadly tornadoes, he says, brings back many memories of dealing with numerous tornadoes during my tenure as governor. And Janet and I know all too well the horrors faced by those in a tornado's path. While we hope tonight is a time for us to celebrate election results, we are reminded that nothing is as important as the lives of these fellow Arkansans, and our hearts go out to their families. Chad, we'll stay on top of this weather story, severe weather tornadoes in Arkansas and Tennessee. You'll be with us all night for that. Let's walk over to John King. He's watching Georgia unfold right now. It's a real horse race there in Georgia between Romney, McCain, and Huckabee.
It's a remarkable race, Wolf. Let me pull the Georgia map out a little bit. You see the cities pop in as we stretch the map out a little bit. 53% in. It's a very close race. Governor Huckabee is winning right now. But look at the map. Remember the colors. The dark is Romney. The bright red is McCain. The more peach color would be Mike Huckabee. County by county, Mike Huckabee and John McCain. And this is we're at an interesting point in the Republican race. Governor Romney is making the case to conservative Republicans that he is the conservative alternative to John McCain. Well, the South is the ideological and the geographical base of the Republican Party. If you want to make the case that you are the Republican candidate, the more conservative Republican candidate, one of the key proving grounds is the South. And look at this. Governor Romney is winning just a smattering of counties so far in Georgia. These are the key suburban counties around Atlanta, but he's winning only a smattering of the counties in Georgia. South Carolina, of course, has already voted. He didn't carry any counties in South Carolina. He's winning just a few counties so far in Georgia. Let's come over to Alabama. No Romney counties anywhere on the board as yet. And if we shrink the map down and go to Tennessee, Romney doing fairly well up around the Nashville area, but still mostly Huckabee and McCain. So mostly Huckabee and McCain in Tennessee. Mostly Huckabee and McCain in Georgia. It was all Huckabee and McCain in South Carolina. If you are Mitt Romney and you're trying to make the case that you are the conservative candidate for the Republican Party, it is a much harder case to make if you cannot rack up any victories in the South, which is the ideological base of the party. So still some votes being counted, but increasingly a tougher case, Wolf, for Mitt Romney to make going forward if he cannot show any success in the South. And again, as you watch Georgia, we're up to 55% now. Governor Romney running third. It's a fascinating race. The key to this race right now, if you're looking at it, John McCain is winning where he needed to along the coast in the military communities. Right now, the key as we watch Georgia, Fulton County, which is where Atlanta is, it's 10% of the population, only 5% of the precincts in so far. Senator McCain running a big lead in that area right now. We need to watch to see if this holds, because if there is a comeback, again, we've said this earlier, 25% of the state's population lives right there in that circle. We're still waiting on Fulton County for those results. Right now, Governor Huckabee leading statewide when you pull on out. If that is to change, it will happen when the results come in up in Fulton County, Wolf.
John King will watch Georgia, a very, very important state for this Republican contest. We'll watch it together with you. On the Democratic side, Georgia went for Barack Obama. We projected that shortly after 7 p.m. when the polls closed in the state of Georgia. In about 23 minutes, 3 more states will be closing their polls. Idaho, where there's a Democratic contest underway. Utah and North Dakota, where there's a Republican contest underway. Much more of our coverage from the CNN Election Center. Remember, go to cnnpolitics.com. That's where you can get all the information, state by state, county by county, the hard numbers coming in all the time. cnnpolitics.com. We'll be right back.
And less than 20 minutes to polls closing in Idaho, Utah, and North Dakota. Alabama now, we have called for Obama, as well as New York, Delaware, Connecticut, New Jersey, Illinois, all for John McCain, for Senator Clinton, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Arkansas, and New York, Mike Huckabee, West Virginia, and Arkansas. Gloria Borger, any surprises for you? What are you watching right now?
No, I'm just kind of watching a trend that's developing in these on the Republican side. And while John McCain seems to be being slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady, the one thing you see is that people who care about personal qualities vote for John McCain. In the state of New York, the people who cared more about the issues voted for Mitt Romney. People who identified themselves as conservative, 41% for Romney, 39% for McCain. This is something that we have seen replayed throughout these primaries.